Hi there, it's Patrick. I just wanted to start off my sort of mini description, mini video describing the process of the song that I made for this project. And I thought the lyrics would be the first thing to start off with, just because I think when it comes to the project itself, this is probably kind of the biggest chunk anyway, of where the importance kind of lies in terms of meeting the criteria for this project. Just to kind of sum up the track, it's supposed to be talking about finding ways to, deal with your own problems, or even problems that society puts on you. It's just supposed to essentially inspire you to not necessarily copy and paste what other people are doing, but maybe look to them for guidance, learn from their experience, but not necessarily feel like that's going to work perfectly for you, for taking the initiative, to figure out what works for you the best. So I'll just kind of go through a couple verses, not every single lyric, but just kind of the key points that I feel that I wrote the best, I feel like, and that I also have the most to kind of discuss about. Because there is certainly some stuff in there that's more filler, just as, any rap kind of needs to some extent, just to keep the rhythm and flow kind of energized and the way I want it sounding. So yeah, we'll go to the first verse. I'll just talk about some of the lines. First, I'll go with haters flex so hard, think they deserve the boulevard. This is just kind of a reminder that, there are always going to be people in your life that, may look down upon you, thinking they deserve the boulevard, which is just kind of this imagery I'm using to, just show that some people are going to think that what they equate to success is better than yours. They're gonna find a way to make a competition out of it. And by no means is competition necessarily a bad thing. It's just there are going to be particular people who make it a bad thing, who make it all about themselves. And if that's the case, that's just a reminder that that does exist. Just keep that in mind. But obviously, take it in the right direction. Don't also follow that path. Next line that I'd like to talk about goes with, on my mindset, you're on yours, ain't gonna do no harm. This is just talking about you and I may not have the same mindset, or we might not have the same methods in coping with issues or improving ourselves, but that's how it should be. It's not gonna do us any harm. We don't need to have the same pathway, basically. It's kind of what it is to be a human. I don't think we should copy and paste, like I said earlier, kind of wrapping things up. I want people to just be themselves, and not necessarily shelter yourself from other people, like still learn from other people. But it's nothing else is going to be you being you, basically. So I feel like that's a pretty solid line. And to wrap up the first verse, we have, society gets it tongue-tied that life contains a grand prize. This is just saying that I feel like a lot of, maybe not society as a whole, but I guess I could imply just more social media or society's views on certain types of success can kind of get you headed in the wrong direction. Like that lyrical idea of contains a grand prize. Life really should not contain a grand prize. It should just be that everyone finds something in their unique life, to be the true thing that fulfills them. Not saying that it can't be money or something like that. Like, obviously, I'm not telling people what their fulfillment should be, but I'm saying that there are a lot of topics that are kind of seemingly these grand prizes, and it seems that more and more people are kind of just going after those things without realizing, is that really what I need? Is that really kind of meant for me? So I guess just another line trying to explain that we are not all going to have that same end goal, basically. So I feel like that was a good way to wrap up the first verse. The second verse is just talking more about like a personal example I would use to connect that first verse to a, I guess, more personable idea. And I think that telling my own story or my own thoughts would kind of allow the listener just to relate to it more. I don't necessarily think this verse is lyrically stronger than the first, but it's more just the whole idea of the first verse chunked together is kind of what's tying it up. So I don't need to maybe go into too much. But yeah, I'll just give a couple lines just to give a sense of what's going on. Kind of towards the middle of the verse. Rather write my thoughts than always feeling like an afterthought. By no means is it true that we're just afterthoughts, that we're meaningless in life. But you can often feel about yourself. You can just kind of get down on yourself like that. And I'm just explaining that, writing out my thoughts, trying to find some lyrical ideas, whether it be actually on paper or, typed up, whatever. That's just one way I can, just kind of cope with things. And I felt like that was a nice way to just tie it into a rap as well. It's kind of the lyrics that I'm writing about also helped me, just feel better. So yeah, it's just kind of like a full circle moment. Next line after that is, bet a lot of y'all can resonate with this mindset. Sad this feels like retribution, even though that's trend set. So I'm saying that I'm kind of like, I'm telling you that I bet you can find something that you resonate with as well that will make you feel this way, that'll kind of hone you in on a focus, take your mind off of things. So it's kind of just like me challenging people, if they haven't already found that thing, or if they have, continue to find even more stuff that can, just benefit you in a way where you really just feel good about yourself. And then, the second part is, sad this feels like retribution, even though that's trend set. Basically explaining you don't want this to be like a once in your lifetime thing. Even I need to work on that as well. It's not supposed to be, I found this one thing that helps me out and we'll see how long it carries me along. But essentially, it's kind of building that one thing, that one action or whatever you do and building it onto another. Not necessarily even doing both at the same time or one consecutively. It's just having all these things you can look to, just kind of building yourself up in a lot of different ways. The reason I wanted to put it like that, so it's not trend set, is because, something like this, I think, is applicable to your lifetime. And I feel like when we're in college or just around this age, it's kind of a good time to explore a lot of those habits we want. They're just kind of building who we are. So I felt like, lyrically that's important, and it goes well with the verse, it goes well with the song. But yeah, essentially I think that kind of wraps it up. I, wanted to tell the story, just not basically word for word, like I said in the beginning. I feel like it's more important to just discuss that overarching idea or ideas. But yeah, it's not like, it's kind of like how you should, just see music. Like it doesn't have to be too literal all the time. We want to paint that imagery to just kind of, just make it stick basically. So I hope this kind of made sense. I feel pretty good about the song. That's kind of what's fun, is just you don't necessarily know where it's going to head. You might have some ideas jotted down, but it kind of just needs to unfold on its own. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. Hope it made sense. I'll follow up with a couple other videos discussing other aspects of the song that, just highlight certain things within the track. So yeah, I'll see you guys in that one. Thanks. Hey everybody, it's Patrick again. Today, basically just going to follow up kind of that lyric analysis I did. More so just talking about the instrumental and sort of the, mix of genres it is. It's a rap song, but I don't feel like I necessarily always like sticking to one soundscape or genre, if you will. This also was produced by my friend as well, who he actually doesn't even go to CU Denver, but it's just kind of, I'm just very glad that even in a time of, pandemic and stuff, a lot of audio production now is honestly just remote to begin with. So it's kind of cool that this project has let me do that and just, I just feel lucky that I've had the chance to work with a friend basically on, a project. And we do stuff outside of this obviously as well, but it's cool. I probably could have tried to produce this whole song by myself, but I just love that idea of working with someone else. And I don't know, I honestly think when he and I do that, his name's Braden, by the way. But yeah, when he and I do that, I feel like that's some of our best stuff. You can't always come up with the best ideas on your own. Which is like a perfect message for, this song in general, really. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to just take a look at a few things in the song. I don't really want to go too in depth into like each sound I used or anything like that. But I just wanted to show kind of all the tracks that I have here, essentially, and just give a little soundscape. So I'll just go ahead and play a little bit of it. And then just briefly listen, and then I'll just talk about it a little bit. I feel like that is a good place to stop, kind of enough to go off of. So a lot of the percussion was added on by Braden. After I did kind of some of the like initial bass sounds and chords, I did also, I don't know why I decided to do this, but I sampled the shell noise of one of the enemies in Mario Bros. Basically. Like, I don't know why, I just thought it would fit in there. Obviously it's warped like differently just so that it kind of fits the soundscape of the song. It's kind of more another percussive element, sort of, another melodic element. So yeah, it's just kind of using different means of sound design. So I would say in that way, it's not necessarily just hip hop, just sampling, but also, like in some regard, a little bit of electronic influence as well. And it's just with every project I just want to kind of test myself. I don't really want to feel like I ever know what my sound is, because to be honest, I feel like every time I try to discover my sound, it just sort of puts me in a box. And when thinking about music, that's definitely not what I want. I believe that you don't necessarily need to be streamlined in order to be focused. So I don't necessarily have this like clear pathway, but that doesn't mean my focus and my intention of doing something I'm proud of isn't there. But I mean, in terms of like track length, the number of tracks on here, I feel like everything's pretty standard. It's not like this super in-depth creation. It's not like a symphony or something like that. But it does have enough layers. It's, it's solid for what it is, I think. And I think I'm just mostly proud of it because, like I've said before, it's something Braden and I worked on together, and I think displays, at least to some extent, who we are. And then, this paired with the lyrics, I feel like, I don't know, I feel like things just kind of matched well. But yeah, that's just a little overview, nothing too crazy. I don't have the effects on here except for mainly the vocals and stuff like that, because a lot of that stuff Braden ended up doing. He did the mixing pretty much. And the song is not currently done, but he and I will decide on how he mixed the final vocals, and I don't know, it's up to him if he wants to master it, or I could try as well. So yeah, maybe I'll wrap that up in another video just to do a final conclusion on things. But yeah, that's good for this video. Hope it made sense. Hope it was kind of cool to see just a little bit of what's going on in terms of how everything was put together. But yeah, that's pretty much all I've got for that. Yeah, I'll see y'all in another one. Thanks.
Hi again. Just wanted to kind of give a final wrap up of some of the final processes and, just some of the stuff I took away from doing this project. So essentially, Braden was originally going to also record a verse as well for the song, but he just, at times you just don't necessarily feel like your ideas are as good as they could be. And considering this is my project, he didn't really have the time to think on it too much. So, I didn't want to put him in a place where he felt rushed. So instead of him doing a verse, I decided that he could just, mix and master basically. So I really appreciate that he did that for me. And, it still offered us a way to work on this together basically. And that's, that was an important aspect for me and for him as well. So glad we got to, make that work. Yeah, I mean, doing this project is just sort of giving an example of how music can be so versatile in its message and its genre, and it's cool to see how pretty much a performer, musician, artist, whatever it may be, can find a way to really convey the messages that they want to, and in this case, this project, we're supposed to show some way that socially or politically, give an example or just analyze how music can, be so powerful in this regard. And, there's much better examples that we've seen throughout history and throughout this class, compared to mine, obviously, but I just wanted to also take my own spin on it and, I don't know, maybe just give an idea as to what more and more artists can do in today's, contemporary environment, basically. And so, yeah, I feel like if that was my goal, if that was my kind of idea, then I think I did a pretty solid job. And obviously, there's always things you could improve on. Um, I probably could have planned a bit earlier. I could have just made sure I had everything down, better practiced, if you will, before actually recording. But other than that, I feel like doing this project, it made sense to me. It just felt like I could be myself, basically. But yeah, I mean, I don't want to keep this part too long, but that kind of wraps up just what I wanted to say, and just kind of getting back to the point of why we have done this project, basically. So yeah, thank you for the opportunity, and I hope you find each part kind of this analysis before the song, somewhat interesting. Hopefully, there's something in there that kind of piques your interest. So yeah, thanks. I appreciate it.